Hello, and welcome back.
Have you read
Some more Technomancer.
a prison camp right?
So we're gonna head back to the Mutant Valley.
I wouldn't accept it as fact just yet. Mutants aren't smart enough to start a riot. It's sketchy to me.
More fact than that propaganda crap you feed us all day.
Maybe they don't tell us.
We'll just go down to this one, I guess. So we gathered our allies. Now, let's go this way. This way sounds good. So when we get back to Mutant Valley, we'll get a couple more quests. We can repair the well. No, of course these guys are respawned.
Get him!
Why not? What are you doing? There are certainly some frustrating things. That's one of them. Well, the whole respawning thing is another one of them too. It still shows we have a mission in the slums because we didn't go talk to Anton, but oh, while we're here, we do want to talk to
Zachariah,
Scott.
you look good. Better than I. Is it?
There should be a way to get his mission. Maybe I messed that up.
Valley, here we come.
Someone sounds excited.
Well, duh, the landscape's drop dead gorgeous. As for the city, integrating with the valley's natural overhangs and alcoves to avoid using a metal dome, you're a genius. Makes me worry about getting fried. And we'll always be strangers there.
For now, most mutants don't have an innate hatred for humans. We just need to give them time to heal.
Still, we'll never be able to walk a mile in their shoes. And for that, we'll always be outsiders. I ain't mad though. If I were them, it'd be my personal mission to fuck up every single humanoid who said good day to me.
Right now, we must focus on uniting our nation. I understand you find it difficult to feel at home, but know that you are a friend, and that as long as I live here, you will be welcome. And when our people are finally free, I know many of my brothers and sisters will welcome you too.
Don't stress out about the roof. You won't be instantly mutated. I have heard tales. But yeah, what a beautiful place. Natural, organic, how refreshing. Humans should take notes.
This city makes me sad.
You're not gonna cry, are ya? I just had these seats cleaned.
I mean, I think I would have liked to, know before of its success. It's all right. Sad is too grandiose. Wistful, yes, wistful. By Jove, I've done it.
Where does Scott even hang out in this place? Must be up there.
We're lucky that scum and Phobos managed to stop Kane. That crazy zealot would have led us to the grave.
Now that we are at full strength, we must devise a way to compromise Victor's popularity at the Assembly.
I've got a lead. There's this grizzled old general who's been bitching about the lack of info he gets about Aurora. Right now, he's the only one with the balls to call Victor the Dictator incompetent. According to him, the Aurora Dowser's down shit creek and may have been booted off his post. If we can prove that General is right and isn't just some senile old man, maybe the Army's head honchos will be pissed enough at the Colonel to kick his buns in the sun.
But we would need hard evidence.
I'm almost positive that Dandolo can help us. Noctis sends merchants everywhere, after all.
We also have some connections with Technomancers over there. They should be able to tell us what happened.
We could try Anton. Aurora's a little far, but there's no place that's safe from Anton's little birds.
It's a start.
Even if abundance is run from the top down, members of the Assembly would pay attention to uprisings. Some of your local allies could help you stir up some anger in the masses. The ASC has made their lives miserable for months. People are arrested on a whisper, live huddled in fear. It would not take much to spark the powder keg.
It's a good idea, but we can't influence entire populations by ourselves. We'd need allies hidden among the people.
Back when I was an artist, I got into some altercations with Assembly members who thought my shows were blasphemy. Maybe it was because I didn't say "Hail to the Shadow" 50 times. I can't say for sure, but if we could get them to think that Victor isn't a devout believer, we could get the large religious sect of the Assembly to revoke their support and demand his banishment. Or we could just give them a little nudge in the right direction by making them believe Victor steals relics for his own use.
We'd have to stage an elaborate setup, but I like it. After all, a trickster must get what he gives. We'll need volunteers that could pretend to be ASC. The plan is right up Anton's alley. It's possible for Dandolo or the opposition to help us out too.
One last thing. I was told the High Judge endorses all of Victor's decisions, even though I know for a fact that he hates him, which is more than a bit strange. The judge is such an honest man.
Or if you're in the mood to make a scandal, I've got everything we need. Did you know that Victor employs young women to worm out information on men he keeps tabs on? And I'm not Victor, but I have a feeling he used that info to blackmail these same men. If we can prove it, the Assembly would have a major meltdown. Their beloved Colonel, a pimp? To find evidence of his trafficking, we could look for the orders he gave his goons. Have you seen his hands? Far too immaculate to be doing this dirty work himself.
Back in my days as an officer, I ran into a band of girls, and I think this exploited girls topic may interest them. Maybe enough for them to help us.
Indeed. How's this? I've heard that a small faction of the Assembly blindly backs up Victor, no matter how crazy the project is. So I believe it almost certain that their chief of this faction was bribed. So unless we bribe him ourselves, we'll have to silence him.
It's not ideal, but I have no way of finding out what dirt the ASC has on that man. We'll have to go without his support and hope we can get enough voters elsewhere.
All these ideas will indeed cut off Victor from his support network.
But
this is going to sound self-interested, but if we could help the mutants escape from the pen, it would expedite the Colonel's downfall. The people and the Assembly would be outraged to know that after decades of civilized control, Victor was the one who couldn't keep them in check. I'd like to see the Colonel try to justify his mistake of so many slaves, particularly ones notorious for their feeble minds.
no, it's not selfish. It's a good plan. We're gonna help mutants in the pen prepare their escape. After a mass breakout like that, his reputation will never be the same. Thank you, all of you, for the ideas. Now let's make them happen.
Okay. The People's Assembly. The General's evidence.
Zachariah, you...
We got lots of missions now. Let's see what we have. Oh. I didn't believe it. That was the problem. The General's evidence, divine disapproval, Mr. Watcher's shady affairs, powder in the wheels, and the People's Assembly.
Greetings, Zachariah.
Information about the messages from Aurora.
Rumor is Aurora's dowser was deposed. I need to know it's more than rumor, though. If it's true, we might be able to convince some members of the Assembly that Victor needs to go.
Even though I don't like the idea of continuing the conflict between Abundance and Aurora that has caused so much suffering, if it's what needs to be done to dethrone Victor, I have a few contacts among Aurora's Technomancers. They're not quite brothers, but they're at least like cousins. And I've heard their messengers nearly always follow one particular shadow path. Let me show you. This one here. If you go, you may be able to stop one of their couriers. If the news you're expecting is as important as you say, I'm sure it will be in the documents they are carrying.
Thanks, Melvin.
Go to Aurora's shadow path at the start of the evening.
Zachariah, I've received a message from Dandolo. He has some information on the disappearance of Patience.
Really? Did he learn where he was taken?
The ASC had him locked up in an old dome near Ophir. In his message, he says that it's a dome that Technomancers used to use. Does this sound familiar to you?
Hard to forget. Yes. That's where initiations would take place before a mantis destroyed everything. We'll have to go free him. The place must be teeming with soldiers fighting for Victor. But we can't leave the old Technomancer in their hands.
Go to the old dome. I guess he's with us. That's why he's not standing over here.
Zachariah, I'm going to need your investigative talents.
Listen to Phobos.
What's going on?
You probably remember that someone turned in my mother. She was one of our backers in Ophir. Without her, our plans to smuggle out our brothers are quite impossible to happen. And I miss her a lot. And then there was Kane's attack while we were about to seal the deal with that Aurora official. Someone turned us to our enemies once again. This can't be sheer coincidence. Someone is trying to slow down our effort and impede our cause. Beyond the fact that what happened to my mother deserves vengeance, I must stop the one who is behind those betrayals, or he will end up making our young nation lose.
Are you thinking of someone in particular? Maybe Kane's men? After all, he did step in to scuttle the negotiations with the merchant.
No, only a few people knew my plans, and even fewer my mother's identity, especially not Kane. He must have been given information on the negotiator. I don't have a name, unfortunately, and that's why I'm asking for your assistance. It's probably someone close. Someone who lived in Ophir with a good excuse to travel to Noctis often. You're good at investigation. I've seen you at work. Help me find the culprit and stop him from doing any more harm.
Except to help Phobos.
All right. I guess that we could learn more about that traitor by talking to the Valley people.
Thank you, Zachariah.
I don't have to do anything. Find out who is responsible for the failures of the Phobos mission. I can't get up that way. Looks like he's over here anyways. Or one of them is. far. But we are actually out of time for this episode, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!